In this tutorial, we'll be taking a look at the translation file editor in eFORMz. First, we're going to navigate to the Minisoft eFORMz 6 folder, and we'll try to find the translate folder. It may not be there, and if it's not, go ahead and select new folder and simply enter translate. And once this new translate folder is there, we're going to scroll down and select the translation table editor. Go ahead and double click that, and that will appear. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger so you can get a sense of how we're working with it here. Once that's up, we'll go ahead and open our sample file, and I have mine in a eFORMz 6 projects translate sample folder, and it's called translations fixed XML. Go ahead and open that up, and we'll see that I have numerous languages here. So first is the base column. That is basically the most common label that you're going to have. It's in English in this example. Your form will have labels such as phone, customer number, etc. We have dictionaries here where we have these labels translated. One is in Spanish, one is Chinese, one is Russian. If I were to click the Spanish dictionary, I can change the name if I so choose. It's SP right now because that's just the country code that we're using in the project. If you wanted to add new labels to this, you would just select new row, and you would see a new row appear. Let's say I want to add tax, and I would just tab over and enter it in for the other languages. If I wanted to add a new dictionary completely, I would select new column, and I would enter the dictionary name. Let's say French. We'll do FR, and that will appear, and you can go ahead and add the labels as you see fit. So once you're done with that, we'll select Save As. It may only want to save it as an all files file of type, so if I were you, I would add the XML on the end of this. That way you can edit it outside of the eFORMz translation file editor if you want to, such as in Notepad or Notepad++. If you edit it, if you add an XML extension to it. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to our Minisoft eFORMz 6 folder. And in that translate folder we created, we'll go ahead and save it there. Alright, so we can go ahead and exit out of the translation file editor and open up the eFORMz composer. And I have here a sample project, and the way that we'll want to do this is create variables for each label. So you'll see here that I have a ship to label, and what I've done is I've set the value to ship to. So by doing that, I simply right click the form, selected add variable by position, gave it a name, and we'll just go ahead and call this ship to label 2, and selected OK. And go ahead and move this up a bit so we can see it a little bit better. And I right clicked that, selected add function, set value, and then set it to ship to. So that would be a way of creating the variable label that you need. Another way is if you already have it in your data file. So if I look here in my data file and I look at and I find I have a sold to label right there. So if I just right click that and select add variable, and I've already done this, so that's why there's a 1 there, but if I select OK, go ahead and move this up again so we can see it a little bit better. You'll see here and down in the variables window I have sold to, ship to. So there's two ways of doing that. If you have the information in your data file, add the variable. If you don't but want to add it, simply add a variable by position as we showed, and then set the value. So we'll go ahead and delete those two that I just created because they're a bit redundant. And once those are out there, I have my two labels. I also have a variable called country code. So this is going to match up the names of the dictionaries that I created in the sample folder. So right now it's in English. You'll see down here in the form all of the labels are in English. If I want to see how it works in Spanish, I'll go ahead and open the data file, from File, and I'll select my Spanish data file. So you can see I've got Spanish data here, but notice my labels are the same. Well, to get the translation working, note that the country code is SP, so I've got a country code variable that's picking up that SP here. And I've got the ship to label. Let's go ahead and right click that and select Add Function and then select Translate. The provider is Translations Fixed XML. That's the provider that we want to use. That's the file that we put into the Translate folder earlier. We're going to select Variable in the Dictionary field, and from the drop-down menu, select Country Code. So that's the way that we can trigger for multiple languages. As long as you have a country code or some sort of code that matches the dictionary name, and that is variable, of course, you can use that as your dictionary. So, Translations Fixed XML, country code variable, we'll select OK, and as you can see, if we scroll here, look at that. It went from ship to or send to NVR off, so it translated it to Spanish. Now, just to show that this works with the sold to label also, we'll go ahead and right click that, select Add Function, and Translate. Select the same Translations Fixed XML file, variable, country code, OK, and there you go. That's now changed to Vendido. So we've got the Spanish. What if we wanted to see if it works with another language? Go ahead and open our data file from File, and let's try Russian. And there we go.